Did you know that prolonged stress can actually shrink your brain? Yes, you heard that right. It's a surprising fact that many of us are not aware of. Stress, something we often brush off as an inevitable part of life, can have profound effects on our body, particularly our brain. Let's delve a bit into the science behind this. When we experience stress, our body responds by releasing a hormone called cortisol. In small doses, cortisol can be beneficial, helping us respond to life's challenges. But when stress becomes chronic, things start to change. The constant flood of cortisol can lead to a number of health problems, including heart disease, weight gain, and you guessed it, brain changes. Now, how does stress affect our brain, you might ask? Well, it's all about the hippocampus. This little part of our brain is crucial for memory and learning. High levels of cortisol can damage and kill cells in the hippocampus, impairing our ability to form new memories and access old ones. But it doesn't stop there. Chronic stress can also shrink the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain responsible for self-control, decision-making, and emotions. This can lead to difficulties in managing our actions and feelings, making us more prone to impulsive behavior and mood swings. Now, this might sound a little scary, and you might be thinking, I'm stressed about being stressed now. But fear not. Stress is a normal part of life, and it's not all bad. In fact, a little bit of stress can be a good thing. It can make us more alert, help us perform under pressure, and even boost our memory. However, it's when stress becomes chronic and unmanageable that it becomes a problem. Thankfully, there are ways to manage stress effectively, and one of them is through the Physiological SighTechnique. This technique, based on our body's natural stress response, can help us reduce stress in real time, keeping our brain healthy and functioning at its best. But don't worry, there are ways to manage stress effectively, and one of them is through the Physiological SighTechnique. Stress isn't just a feeling, it's a physiological response that can impact our entire body. To understand stress, we must first delve into its science. Stress is our body's reaction to a perceived threat or challenge. When we feel threatened, our brain releases a surge of hormones, including adrenaline and cortisol. These hormones prepare our body for the fight-or-flight response, increasing our heart rate, quickening our breath, and boosting our energy supplies. This response kept our ancestors alive in the face of danger, and still serves us today in situations of immediate physical threat. However, in our modern world, stressors have evolved. We're often responding to psychological threats rather than physical ones like a looming deadline or an unexpected bill. Our body's stress response doesn't differentiate between physical and psychological threats, so we find ourselves in a state of high alert, even when there's no immediate danger. This constant state of stress can have adverse effects on our health, leading to problems like heart disease, diabetes, and mental health disorders. Now, let's talk about the autonomic nervous system, the system that controls our body's involuntary functions, like heart rate and digestion. This system has two main components: the sympathetic nervous system, which prepares our body for action, and the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps our body rest and digest. During a stressful situation, the sympathetic nervous system takes over, triggering the fight-or-flight response. Once the threat has passed, the parasympathetic nervous system steps in, calming the body down and restoring balance. Interestingly, while most of these responses are automatic, we also have some control over them. For instance, deep breathing can slow our heart rate and stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, helping us calm down. This demonstrates that our stress response can be both involuntary and voluntary. Understanding the science behind stress is the first step towards managing it effectively. So, in the next scene, we'll dive into a technique that can help us harness this knowledge and manage our stress response better. Stay tuned. Now let's delve into the Physiological SighTechnique, a scientifically backed method for managing stress. This is not your average deep breathing exercise or mindfulness meditation, but a direct physiological approach to calming down your body and mind. The Physiological SighTechnique is all about leveraging the power of your breath and the interaction between two critical parts of your nervous system, the sympathetic and parasympathetic systems. You may already know that the sympathetic nervous system triggers what we often call the fight-or-flight response, preparing your body to react to a perceived threat. On the other hand, the parasympathetic system is responsible for the rest and digest response, helping to calm your body down after the threat is passed. But here's the interesting part: your breath can act as a switch between these two systems. When you inhale, your heart rate slightly increases, activating your sympathetic system. When you exhale, your heart rate slows down, activating the parasympathetic system. This is where the Physiological SighTechnique comes into play. The technique involves a specific pattern of breathing, a long, slow exhale followed by a natural inhale. This pattern, when repeated, can help to reduce your heart rate and promote a sense of calm. The extended exhale acts as a signal to your body that it's time to relax and switch off the fight or flight response. Meanwhile, the natural inhale allows your body to take in the oxygen it needs without triggering a stress response. What's fascinating is that this technique taps into a fundamental, hardwired connection between your brain, your heart, and your lungs. It's a relationship that exists within each of us, waiting to be harnessed for better stress management. So, while life may indeed be full of stressors, remember that you possess an innate physiological tool to counteract them. With practice, the physiological SighTechnique can be a powerful tool for stress management. Now that we understand what the physiological SighTechnique is, how can we incorporate it into our daily lives? Incorporating the physiological SighTechnique into our daily routine is a straightforward task. Let's break it down into manageable steps. Step 1. Find a comfortable and quiet space where you can sit or stand undisturbed. Step 2. Close your eyes and take a moment to ground yourself in your surroundings. Notice the sensation of your feet touching the ground, the temperature of the air, and the rhythm of your breath. Step 3. Start by taking a deep breath in, expanding your diaphragm, and allowing your lungs to fill with air. As you inhale, visualize your heart expanding in the space created by your breath. Step 4. Exhale slowly and deliberately, allowing the breath to leave your body at its own pace. As you do this, visualize the blood in your heart moving more slowly, and the sinoatrial node sending signals to your brain about this change in pace. Step 5. Repeat this process for a few minutes, focusing on the rhythm of your breath and the picture you've created in your mind. The aim is not to control your heart rate directly, but to influence it through your breath. Remember, it's crucial to maintain consistency and regular practice. It's like learning to play a musical instrument or mastering a new language. The more you practice, the more familiar you become with the process and the more effective it becomes. It's also worth noting that the physiological SighTechnique can be used anytime you feel the need to calm down or deal with stress. It's a tool in your toolkit, ready to be used whenever you need it. Don't be discouraged if you don't see immediate results. It takes time to train your body and mind to work together in this new way. Be patient with yourself and keep practicing. Remember, the key to mastering the physiological SighTechnique is regular practice. We'd love to hear about your experiences with the physiological SighTechnique. We all have our unique journeys and experiences when it comes to stress and the ways we manage it. Your experiences, triumphs, and even struggles with the physiological SighTechnique can be a source of inspiration and learning for others. Sometimes it's through the shared stories of others that we find our own strength and resilience. Your story might be the one that helps someone else realize they're not alone in their stress journey. It could provide that much-needed nudge for someone to take that first step towards managing their stress more effectively. Remember, the beauty of the physiological SighTechnique is in its simplicity. It's a tool that's accessible to everyone, regardless of age, health status, or lifestyle. Yet, as with any tool, the experiences of using it can be as diverse as the individuals using it. Sharing your experience is not just about telling your story. It's about contributing to a larger conversation about stress and its management. It's about building a community of individuals who are determined to take control of their stress, rather than letting it control them. Furthermore, sharing your experiences can provide valuable feedback that contributes to the ongoing research and understanding of the physiological SighTechnique. The more we understand about how people are using this technique and the impact it has on their lives, the better we can refine and improve it. So, don't be shy, share your experiences, your successes, and even your challenges. There's no right or wrong way to share. It could be a comment, a message, a blog post, a video, or even a conversation with a friend or family member. Let's create a ripple effect, where the sharing of one experience leads to the sharing of another, and so on. Each shared story is a step towards better stress management for everyone. So, why not give the physiological SighTechnique a try and share your experiences? You might just find it's the stress management tool you've been looking for. For more Wellness Warriors video, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe.